All right, we are back. It is 2025, and the NFL season is about to begin. Uh, this episode will drop a little after we record it because that's how time works. But right now, we're about a week and a half away, 2 weeks or something. A pre-draft episode is here, and we got a lot to say. And by we, I mean that, of course. I'm Colin, by the way, if you remember me from last season, and I'm joined by two boys. Name of first, Fitzy, Sean Fitzgerald. Sean, have you spent this whole summer with regret and agony in your heart about fantasy, or what? How's your summer been?
I have a short-term memory with fantasy. As far as I'm concerned, last year was 2021, and I'm coming off a championship, Colin. We are back. I'm so happy to be here.
That was 2021?
Maybe two. I don't know, man.
Oh, my God. Time goes fast.
One, yeah.
But maybe it doesn't go fast for this guy. He's been soaking in the sun as he is the reigning champion. It's Michael Corbett. It's him. He's here to gloat about his great fantasy team. Corby, how was your summer?
My summer was awesome. I've consulted the magic tome, and I know the secrets to all of fantasy football. It's going to be a great year. So happy to be back doing this podcast, as always.
Yeah, shout out to the loyal listeners, all three of you or whatever. I'm not sure how we usually get between 40 and 60 views, but we get there somehow. So I appreciate you all. So let's just jump into it, I guess, right? So if you guys remember last year before the draft, we had our tribal COUN-SKILL. Fitzy, you want to take the reins on this? Is your baby? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so we'll talk about two of my little babies first, and I'm not talking about Eva, because baby number one is Tribal COUN-SKILL, where you pretend you're a contestant on Survivor, write down a player and a dollar figure who you're really high on. You send it into an inbox that we are going to put on the screen right now and put into the show description so that there's no shenanigans like last year. It might even be my personal email, and I just promise not to watch the video. But you tell us who you're voting for, how much you're going for them, and we'll see what happens after the draft. Baby number two, and oh boy, this one was so sweet last year. It's the Why Do Boys Bet on This suicide pool. It's back. We're definitely doing this one. I'll be texting people individually for this. But just like last year, we all love some, I think we can still say suicide pool. We love a good suicide pool in NFL football, right? We're going to do it for our fantasy league again. So I'll be texting you all about that. I think we did a $5 buy-in last year. I think that sounds about right as well. It's a $5 bet world that we live in. So those are my two babies that I wanted to bring up on the show.
Those are just two of Fitzy's babies. His redheaded stepchild, the biggest loser. I don't know if we're gonna go over it this episode, but he's taking a back seat.
I think you guys did a really good job with that after I left. Actually, if the listeners don't remember, go back and listen again to our last few episodes. Go ahead, just plug it in and watch the confusion. It was
All right, let's go.
I don't remember a redheaded thing. What are you talking?
Oh, that's just you've never heard that term before, have you, Fitzy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Redheaded stepchild. That means it's the I don't know,
the forgotten child.
Yeah, the forgotten child you don't care about.
Yeah. And that's what boys would call the biggest loser. That's so not true.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Let's look at last season here. Here's the championship game. We did go over this on the last episode, so it's not like some seasons where we pick up right on the championship game. But I figured we'd put it up here. Corby got the 200 burger championship. This was a great season, honestly, because we had two of the two best teams indisputably faced off in the championship. And Corby, who had the superior team, came out on top. Corby, do you want to give your team flowers one last time?
I mean, I'm not going to linger on this because this is a whole new year, whole new me. Just shouts out to my squad that I had carried with me the entire way. Shouts out to Kyle Pitts on my bench. Shouts out to Chico Conquo for plugging in for double digits. Shout out to the whole crew. Love you all. We're on to the next year though.
Here's the final standings besides that. So we got the Chris is always confusing here. Is this Chris Colby third?
Chris Colby third.
Okay,
Colby
so yeah,
third.
Chris P second, Chris Colby third, and then we got Brandy, Chris Cloud. We got all the Chris's this season, huh? And then Mike. So good. Shout out to them for making the top 6, and true to Adam's form. Although this is post consolation, I guess that he's in 12. He goes big or goes home, and this year he went home. But he went 5 and 9. So we got
I just want to give a quick shout out to Tyler here, who in adjusted rankings would be showing as 7th because a 5-win season, as he scores the 3rd highest points in the league last year. I just got to give a quick shout out there because that's the type of statistical anomaly that we love on this podcast.
Yeah, that's definitely something I remember we were hammering like every week towards the end was how like unjust Tyler's fantasy season. Like I was complaining, but Tyler's the one who really had like a right to. So good way to hang in there, Commissioner. Good for him. All right, so next just a quick reminder. So this came incidentally, but this is the Why Do Boys Play Games is coming to much acclaim. It's dropping the day before the draft, which I set that date I think in like earlier mid-July, and then Tyler set the date of the draft, and it was serendipitous, one might say. The reviews are coming in. Here's what IGN had to say. They said, although it doesn't stray too far from its pick up and play roots, at its best, the game contains real challenge and surprisingly clever twists. That's from the review for Angry Birds Star Wars on the PS Vita, but the sentiment remains the same. I'm sure they would have said the same for my game. So it's coming out that day. I think it's like $4. It's it'll be $4.50 or something. I don't know. It costs $100 to put a game on Steam, so I put it at $4. If that's too much for you, then just if you like $4 is too much for hundreds of hours of my labor, then just DM me and I'll send you a key. And that is because this will be the last episode before this comes out.
No,
Leave a review.
I gotta say, Colin, no, DM me instead, and I'll gift it to you. We're not letting Colin bear this one.
No, I'm joking. Honestly, you can DM me for a key. I don't care. Who cares? But let's move on. This is the game. Go play it. Let me know what you think. 200 burgers. Here we go. This is it. This was a pretty slow year this year. So here we go. This was a little early in the season. Fitzy, do you have any memory of this one?
The memory I have of this one is starting Anthony Richardson and Deshaun Watson, and I think that's about all I've really got to say. Listen, Mike's team was a little bit destiny coded last year, putting up the Jets defense, putting up 16 on me, while my second highest score was Green Bay defense. Just a great performance from Mike top to bottom. I got to give a quick shout out, Colin. You put together the 200 burgers. Normally I deep dive all these. I look at the bench. When I saw they were done, I just said, thank you, Colin, and I moved on to a special segment I've got later instead. So you've probably got more intel on these.
Nope. I just took the picture. I put them in chronological order, like I think you do, and that's all I got. I took note of some of them. Like we can tell. This was early in the season, obviously, and like you said, like Mike out of the gate, he came out flaming hot. We all agreed he had like the best team. Corby started 0-2 before not losing a game until like the last regular season week or whatever. And he was the hotness, but it didn't last. A lot of these guys just didn't stay on. Dak got hurt, and all kinds of things happened. And it is what it is. But what's up next? So this was actually pretty late in the season because I remember how mad I was because this is when I was making my playoff push, and Taylor, who I think had never scored above like 140 all year, scored 200 because look at Taysom Hill, look at his quarterback. He scored four guys here, right? Goff, Hill, Amon-Ra, and Joe Mixon just demolished me with his defense scoring -4.
Yeah, I was gonna say the defense scoring -4, and like Taylor's good for one or two of these every year, where his original projection is almost 100 points lower than his final score. The Yahoo algorithm cannot contain this man.
Taylor, by the way, we'll get into it. Obviously, we always do. Dangerously close to silver, so we'll keep an eye on that. Go on. So this was like I kind of alluded to earlier. This was either Corby might know better. This is like the last game of the year, or maybe the second to last. Do you remember?
I think this was the second to last regular season game of the year.
Right, and so this was the championship game preview, which we didn't know at the time, but we might have suspected because we knew these were the best two teams. And boy, did it not disappoint. I do have notes for this on the bench because Corby had Jameis Winston on the bench, who's put up like 40, but you can't fault him for that. He also had Terry McLaurin on the bench, who had like 33 or something, so you can kind of fault him for that. I don't know if there's like an injury thing going on for starting.
I remember this being the Corby will not give up on Juwan Jennings that early week. That's exactly what we talked about this one at the time as like, come on, Corby. But you're drafting him this year, right?
No.
McLaurin and Juwan Jennings.
The Cheeto.
Both Cheeto.
Yeah, he'll be cheap this year. I think it's a good get, but we'll get into it. So this is the second one. So this was the one that kind of not toppled because Corby stayed on top, but this ended Corby's win streak. But obviously it didn't stop, and the momentum moved on.
Yeah, this was the battle for like first seed, and there was no way for me to get it unless Chris lost again the week after, which I don't think he did.
And then Fitzy in the consolation bracket put up one of the all-time highest scores this league has ever seen.
Yep. Certainly the highest score we've ever had in the consolation bracket. And look at that, Anthony Richardson, put up 20 points for me. Or 28 is that? Yeah, 20. Like all of my players went off. Even Sam Laporta got double digits. That never happened last year. Yeah, I mean, what else can be said? My team always peaks at the right time, but it doesn't perform at the right time to get me into where I need to be. That's I consider myself a bit of a home run hitter as well. We'll talk about Adam later on, though. I promise.
Yeah, Fitzy notoriously his teams pop off in December and November, whatever. He just has to make it to playoffs. All right, so that was all the 200 burgers, I believe. So let's get into the mailbag as the comments that were left on the championship game. There's only 3 of them.
Oh, this is a lot of comments, guys.
So this is what happens is at the end of the year, like everyone's out of the playoffs. Like only the true fans, like Adam, are gonna stick around and comment. And so we are here in August, actually, as Adam leaves a comment. Read this comment in September. Thanks, I'm gonna win.
Adam, as a promise to you, I will read this again in September.
All right, we'll hold you to that. Will Fuller mentioned, he says. I don't remember what context it was, but we must have mentioned him. And then I commented 2 months ago. I said, watching this in June got me bricked up on a Saturday evening. So
I don't think you guys do, but I get email notifications every time a comment comes through. I really should have said something, Colin, but I wanted you to just like sit on this one for a while.
I specifically remember leaving this. I was in the backyard with Everett, my dog, like walking him, just watching him, and I was beating up. Spricked the hell up, dude. I was getting hyped for fantasy, so I rewatched a little bit. So yeah, that's the mailbag. And what is next, everyone? You all know what it is. We'll add the sweet music, I guess, in post. It's the gamies, everybody. It's that time of year. So let's give everyone their flowers and their awards. So first award, here we go. I'm gonna give the first award here. It's the All Is Fair in Love and War, the dual award for the most even and most lopsided trade. For the All Is Fair award, I wanted to give this one out to Adam and Brandy for this nice trade. It's Kareem Hunt for Caleb Williams. It doesn't show up on the side, but I didn't really look up too much. Because honestly, it was kind of disappointing. The trades that going through last year is a little disappointing. There weren't too many big ones. But this one, was like a crappy, probably I think Caleb did okay to close the year. It's probably like a low end QB1 or mid QB2, and that's basically what Kareem Hunt was. So great even trade here. As for the most lopsided, you already know. It was the mega trade that I didn't think would be that bad at the time. But Christian McCaffrey just did not play. J.K. Dobbins was kind of stinky to end the year, and Derek Carr retired. I mean, he retired this year, but
Zach Ertz made it back to your team. I mean,
and then later in the year, me and Chris swapped Mark Andrews for Zach Ertz. There was some rental going. But Alvin Kamara was absolutely disgusting last year. George Pickens was mid, and Russ was okay, I guess. But they were all startable, as opposed to Chris's team, where I guess it wasn't that bad. It was mostly the Alvin Kamara thing, who averaged like 20 points a game last year in full PPR. He was awesome.
Listen, I mean, Chris made the playoffs. You didn't, right? Like you could say that he overcame this trade. I want to give a quick honorable mention on the most fair trade as well, because both teams lost equally from this one. Me and Brandy trading Jordan Mason for Sam Laporta, running the numbers back and recognizing I would have made the playoffs if I hadn't made that trade.
Oh no.
If you recall last year's tight end saga with me, where I just cursed whatever when I started, we're looking to break that curse this year. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, Sam Laporta. Yeah, go ahead. What are you?
I was just gonna say another fun fact about this Kareem Hunt and Caleb Williams trade is that after this trade happened, Brandy traded Caleb Williams away, I believe.
That's right.
Before she even played him in a week,
That's right.
Yeah,
it's a fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but I saw that. I remember I saw that one. All right, who wants to go next?
The gamey.
So I'll go next with one here, Colin. And I mentioned I had 3. I really got 2 because I want to put 2 of mine together. So the first of my 2, it is the third annual Newest Father Award. So this one goes to my good friend Eric. For privacy reasons, we will not be showing or naming any beautiful babies here. But congratulations, Eric, for being a father. I hope you can avoid the curse of fatherhood that has been well documented on this show. Again, we'll see what gets bet on later.
So wait, what was the timeline? I'm sorry. When was Dominic born?
February 23rd.
Okay, so he was a championship baby. He was right after a little after.
I thought about constraining it to the season, and I would have awarded it to myself, Barack Obama meme. But no, I'll give it to the true heir here. It's Eric. I wonder who will win next year.
The gamey.
No announcements on this pod for the record.
It probably won't. It probably won't be cash. But you want me to take the next one here?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, so the next one here is the coveted Wheeling and Dealing Award, which is presented by Mr. Scroy this season. Remember Mr. Scroy from
the Body Snatcher?
The Body Snatcher. Yeah, so this is the award for the most trades made. This was actually a 3-way tie between 3 separate managers. Colin, Brandy, and Chris Colby were all involved in 3 separate trades last season. In total, there were, I believe, only 7 trades last season. So I think we need to. Is that wrong? Is that?
No, I'm shaking my head because I'm confounded.
It's sad, you know. I know I didn't make a single trade last season, and it worked out for me. So will I be doing it again? Who knows? All I know is that I hope we can get to double digits this year because trades are what make fantasy football pretty fun.
I'll just pipe in here and say that I think Brandy kind of awards this or deserves this one solo, just because me and Chris, 2 of those trades was the big one, and then we swapped Mark Andrews and Zach Ertz back. So maybe that should count as like half a trade.
Sure.
But shout out to all the traders out there with a D and not a T.
The
Traders.
gamies.
Next up, we got the good, the bid, and the ugly for the best and worst fab offers of the year. Best was kind of similar, 2 years ago, or was it 2 years ago? I guess it was 3. That's the one I remember. Maybe the best fab opportunity season of all time, where you had Kyron and Puka both. Yeah, it's been 3 because Puka's rookie year. Kyron and Puka both like week 1 or even week 2, I guess, in some slower leagues. We didn't really have any of those this season. The week 1 pop-offs were like Isaiah Likely, who wasn't a great, Isaiah Likely and Alexander Madison, I remember, were the week 1 guests, both by like Chris Colby. Speaking of overcoming, was that Chris Colby? Do you guys remember?
Yes. No, it was Chris. Chris Pato spent like 80% of his fab in week 1 and still made the championship.
And and I remember he spent like $90 in week 1, and then I think he almost never started either of them. So
right.
Good to go. So anyway, the best fab award in a pretty slow year. I give this one. It's to Corby for Juwan Jennings. There were some really good ones, other good ones. $3 for Juwan Jennings, by the way. To Corby for Juwan Jennings, a nice bargain wide receiver 2-3. He's okay. He was fine. He had that one big game, infamously. There were some other really good ones. Like I remember, I think it was one of the Chris's, maybe Chris Colby, picked up Bucky Irving for like $7, but then he must have dropped him again because Corby picked him up. So yeah, with the stipulation that you had to keep him. Corby picked up Juwan Jennings and kept him. So Shout out to Corby. Just he had a good enough team and he made it even better. As for the worst, I'm gonna do the Barack Obama meme, except I guess it's a bad one. I spent $58 on COUN-SKILL, so that was a mistake on my part. You gotta. I thought he might have been Kyron Williams. I was like, you gotta spend early. I think Isaiah Pacheco got hurt. It just didn't work out for COUN-SKILL. So that was my mistake. Do you guys have any memorable fab ones that you remember?
I have an honorable mention here, and it's just for worst pickup. It's not necessarily fab, but I have to mention this, Colin, because you also picked up Amir Abdullah in the year 2024 last year.
Okay.
And then he had 100-yard rushing week.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had to look at the stats on this one. He has more rushing yards in like week 15 last year than he's had in any year since like 2020. Unbelievable. I don't know how you had that foresight.
Okay, well, I bet if you were to look at his last 4 or 5 games, I bet he averaged like 15 or 16 points. He was awesome last, because he wasn't just rushing; he was receiving a lot. He was an awesome player down the stretch last year.
Count me as a new father, because he came on like right after Eva was born, and I just missed it. So.
Yeah, he was awesome.
The Gamies.
Okay, and like I said, I want to go for both of these, so this will be my last presentation of the evening. The first one, absolutely, these are my favorite categories to give out. It is the award for the transaction involving Fab, who we're going to look back on in a couple of years and wonder, who was that? Our first nominee is Colin for COUN-SKILL.
Oh, no.
Nominee number 2 is Brandy with Bub Means for $20. And number 3 is Colin once again for picking up Jordan Whittington, wide receiver for the Rams. Now, we remember him now, but we're going to forget him soon. When I was reading through these names, I actually laughed out loud when I saw our winner. It's Bub Means. Congratulations, Brandy, on winning the award in 2024.
He was a Saint, wasn't he?
He was a Saint. Wide receiver for the Saints.
Had to be.
And then I just got to do it, because next up is the Who Award for the transaction not involving Fab, who will look back on and wonder, who was that? Transaction number 1, Brandy picked up Brandon Allen. I like to play a game here. Who do you think Brandon Allen is without highlighting in CA? Like what position, what team?
Wide receiver on the Bengals.
Quarterback for the 49ers. Next, Colin, you'll probably know this one, because Colin picking up Dylan Laub.
Who is it? I don't know who that is.
A running back for the Raiders. Running back for the Raiders. Dylan Laube.
Absolutely no memory. Zero memory of that.
Next up, our third nominee is Brandy again for picking up Mason Tipton. Anybody know who Mason Tipton is?
Is he on the Bengals? Didn't he just have some big catches last night?
He, you know what? Last year, I think he was on the Saints as a wide receiver.
I think he got 2 touchdowns yesterday.
And then finally, this is a borderline honorable mention, but Colin for picking up Frank Gore Jr.
Frank Gore Jr. has been tearing it up this preseason, by the way. Go check out his stats.
I'm going to go with under on $0.5 spent on Frank Gore Jr. In our draft.
Agreed.
And the winner is, for not recognizing the player who was on his own team last year, Colin with Dylan Laub.
Was this at the end of the year?
Easy win.
No, it was before Amir Abdullah. I can't tell you anything other than you picked up Dylan Laub, and it wasn't part of your LOL stretch.
Dude, what?
How many Raiders? Also.
How many Raiders running backs were there last year? Remember Sincere McCormick?
I don't know, but they were all on your team. Sincere McCormick was a borderline award nominee, but we remember Sincere enough. But yeah.
Oh man!
So, congratulations, Brandy and Colin, for the and Who awards.
The Gamies.
While we're still on the subject of free agency and whatnot, I have an award called the I Can't Quit You Award, which is for the player who was added by the same team, or the player who was added by the same owner multiple times in a season. It was a 3-way tie, but I broke this tie based on the amount of fab spent. And the winner of this A shared award. Both of your gamies are in the mail. Adam and Juju Smith-Schuster, congratulations, guys. You spent Adam, I think, spent around over $10 on Fab for Juju Smith-Schuster 3 separate times. So shouts out Adam and shouts out Juju.
Oh, that's awesome. You said it was a 3-way tie. Do you have the others? I'm curious.
No, I don't.
Okay. Congratulations, Adam.
I know that Brandy had picked up somebody 3 separate times. Oh, I think it was Andre Yoshivas 3 separate times, and then I think it may have been me 3. It was me. With the third one was Trey Benson. I picked up Trey Benson 3 separate occasions.
Yep.
Because I was like, James Conner's going down this week, and it never happened.
The Gamies.
Anyways, Colin.
It is my turn here. This is an award I made last year to celebrate Fitzy for almost making the playoffs after having just like a horrific start. It's the never give up, never surrender for the owner who kept pushing forward despite adversity. And I'm going to be Obama again. I think I'm giving myself 3 gamies. Staying on brand for myself. It's me for just smashing the season. I drafted CD Lamb for $87, and I just kept going. And I drafted McCaffrey, and it was like, wow, this team is terrible. But look, I basically won the league last year in my eyes because of how good I did. I should have made I was right behind Tyler, probably in points or somewhere around there. So really, I think I won the league last year. Why don't you guys go ahead? Who's next? Does anyone have more?
I have one more, and this is my favorite award. It is the Mount Rushlift Award for Team Name of the Year. I don't think I have an actual team name of the year. I think that this player was exemplary last year, made me laugh multiple times. So the winner of this award is Adam, and I have 4 names written down. The first one is fucking useless idiot, which was some great photos of was a close-up photo of Patrick Mahomes with the word like idiot and shit scribbled all over his face. We also have 1-800-273-8255, which is a crisis hotline for those who don't know. We also have Hawk Tua, which is absolutely hilarious, really timeless. And maybe my favorite one of his, a win or the blade, which is a picture of Patrick Mahomes with a razor blade superimposed on his face.
It was an ultimatum.
Adam, I'm looking forward to team names as I do every season, and we may have some surprises here and there in terms of the rankings for team names.
I've got a couple honorable mentions because, Corby, for you to win with Bucky Irving, Born to Be a Star, you set that one and you let it ride, and I love that team. That's one of my favorite champion team names of all time. And then Chris Cloud, always bringing the heat, ending the year on Sergeant Penis. I mean, just saying it brings a smile to my face.
It was really hard to not pick Sergeant Penis.
I'm looking at the final team names because I'm looking at the final points for last year, just to tie a bow on Colin saying he was probably really close to second. Colin, you were in 5th place in points for last year. 5th place. That's all.
I said I was right behind Tyler. I don't know if I said second. I don't think I was.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, you were only.
I was talking way too fast, honestly.
You're good. You're good.
I was getting hyped up.
Just about 80 behind Tyler.
No, no way I would have been second with Chris and Corby.
Yeah.
But 5, it's decent. All right, I got one more award. It's the Golden Theo for the best draft pick of last year. There could have been a bunch, especially from Corby's team. Malik Neighbors for 16. Lamar Jackson for whatever he went, it would have been worth it. Same goes for a lot of those players on Corby's team. Jamar Chase, I think, he went for probably, $50, but it's still a great pick. And that goes for this one too, because Saquon went for 40, which was probably one of the top 10 running. I'm sure it was one of the top 10 running back costs. So this one goes to Mike for taking Saquon. He said, "Fuck you, Colin." I said Saquon was going to suck last year. I was right in that Jalen Hurts stole a shit ton of touchdowns, but it didn't matter because Saquon got a lot of long runs, and he didn't even need the goal line touches that much. He got his own touchdowns, and he didn't need to catch a lot of balls because he just averaged 6 yards a carry, got 2,000 yards. So Saquon said, "Fuck you." Mike had a Saquon. That's part of what made his team so good early on and throughout the season. So good job, Saquon. Good job, Mike. Let's see how he does this year after handling 500 touches between the regular season and playoffs. And that does it for the gamies. Oh, did you guys have any honorable mentions for this one that you recall? I don't know if you wanted to give your own team a shout out or something.
I'm good.
Fitzy, we'll get into it a little. Fitzy,
Silver $20. Kyle Pitts
Yeah.
$9. Kyle Pitts $9.
yeah. Fitzy had some really awesome ones. We'll get into it, I think, later though. But I know you didn't take too much noise last year, Fitzy. But you had an interesting draft. It's time for Go Power Rankers pre-draft ranking. We're gonna rank the managers before they draft the team. This is right out of Fitzy's playbook. Even though is this Fitzy's idea or was this Corby's?
This was my
Original.
idea.
Okay, all right.
was-
Yeah.
This is Corby's.
I was
baby.
what's something really stupid. Like, what's a really dumb list that we can do that makes absolutely zero sense?
All right,
Although
you did
I
it.
have to say, Colin, I really appreciate that you think this could have been my idea. This feels like a dark, twisted type of mind.
It
Only
absolutely
stupid,
does.
only stupid ideas from this brain.
Yeah.
Only the smoothest of brains.
All
All
right.
right. So as
Uh,
per usual, Colin, how about we go 12-1, and I'll let you call out who's going first.
Who am I taking at 12? Is who you're asking?
I was gonna have you because you're host. I don't want to step on your hosting duties here.
Okay, I'm gonna say who I think is gonna be 12.
Good.
So obviously, this is gonna be my opinion of every year. This is the person whose team I look at and I say I don't like it. So I'm gonna pick Adam. Because every year we draft and I'm like, I hate this team. And sometimes it's a lot better than I thought. And last year it wasn't. I had him at 12, I think, before and after the draft. So I mean, recency bias dictates I'm gonna put him at 12. Who do you guys have at 12?
I think it's crazy for you to put Adam at 12. I'll tell you who I've got at 12, and it's going to surprise you because I'm usually pretty high on Taylor's team in the pre-ranking system here. But I'm a big believer in fantasy gods. You've heard me talk about this before. And Taylor ended our season last year with $100 fab unspent. I don't think that the fantasy gods will smile upon his team this year. I don't think there's a chance of him harnessing destiny. That's the entirety of my thesis here.
At number 12, I have Cash. And
Whoa.
so the reason I have Cash at number 12 is that I think he has a fairly strong regular season usually. I feel like I can't recall any big free agency moves that help him throughout the season. I guess if we're just talking about after the draft, I feel like Tyler is pretty safe guy. He usually drafts like one big guy, saves money on QBs, takes a few swings there. I just expect another kind of safe Wonder Bread team from Tyler, and I think it's a low ceiling type move for him. So that's why I have him at 12. So for 11, we already talked about this guy. This is Taylor. I'm going to keep this simple. I expected great things from Taylor because I ranked his team number 1 after the draft last year. I have him at 11 now because this is hindsight is 2020, right? He's kind of the least active member, like you said, 100 fab unspent. But I can see some stupid, crazy swing weeks come, and he can have some big moves. I think there are times in which Taylor will just blow his load on almost on a character on a player, and I think that it helps him, and I think that those big swings could lead to good things. But again, it's still 11. I still don't have high expectations for him.
And I'm remembering now that we typically do when we get on a player, we finish with Colin. Why don't you tell us what you think about Taylor's team, where you got him ranked?
I have Taylor at 10. Obviously, pretty much for the reasons you guys said. Corby, I recall that me and you both had Taylor at number 1 after the draft.
Yep.
We were high on Taylor's team. Corby, basically had him at 9. He knew what was up. I don't think much needs to be said. Taylor, he did increase substantially in Yahoo ranking though, so I'd like to see continuous progress. I want to see a big silver this year, but I put him at 10.
All right, and I'll keep the train rolling with catching up here on these names we talked about so far, because Tyler I've got at 7. I think Tyler is not going to finish lower than 7, but my issue here is this is exactly where he was in adjusted ranking last year. He might have the best team in the league and still finish with 4 wins. It just feels like what's happened to Tyler the past couple of years. It doesn't feel like he's gotten the luck that he's needed. You might say law of averages means he's due. But until the gods tell otherwise, I'm keeping him at 7.
I have Tyler at 3. I feel like after the draft, I always am very fond of Tyler's teams, and like you said, you said that it doesn't matter if they're good because he's going to lose, but I feel like he always does good. I think this was true maybe last year. I don't know if he has the most championship appearances, right? That was true for a while. Tyler, he's like the Bills. He just doesn't really win them a lot. So I think he's a great drafter.
Corby, where do you have Adam?
I have Adam at number 1. And there's 2 reasons. Number 1, Adam does this for a living, and so I respect his game. I respect his ability. He crunches the numbers. He leaves emotion out the window and does that thing. Number 2, I think that the relationship between Patrick Mahomes and Adam is so severed, so divorced, that it's going to help Adam in terms of opening up his draft strategy, and it will make a team that I love. So Adam, I expect to have my favorite team. We will see if it comes to fruition. So number 1.
Yeah. So Adam typically will have a team that I don't like leaving the draft, and I will still rank his team highly because I know he's going to be the heaviest waiver user in the league. It happens just about every year. He's like doubling up the second place guy. I've got him at 8. I have Adam at 8 entering the draft because, and I won't get into it further. I'm going to save this for bets of the week. Little plug to keep you guys all listening. I'm keeping him at 8. Colin, if I'm looking at it right, you haven't ranked somebody 11 yet. Where are you going?
Yeah. So I just want to preface this by saying maybe we just do this all differently because I'm just ranking on how I like their team after the draft. I'm not going to consider how they're like. I would put Adam high too if I thought like how he's going to finish, but I don't like Adam's teams, so I put him at 12. If we're just why even look at the teams if we're ranking managers is what I'd say. Anyway, I put Corby at 11. 1, I think Corby. I think you're riding that fantasy high. And I think it's all going to come crashing down this year. And second of all, and maybe this is a bigger factor, is I didn't really look at your team. I know. Well, I'll just mention that we're in 2 tight end together. We already had our draft, and I didn't really look at it too much. But I have my my conjecture projector that I run my numbers in, and it had your team at the bottom. I didn't look at it, but just numerically,
I
it was.
just draft.
Oh, you didn't like it, really? I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, it had you at I think -8 points below the average team or something. So, but I didn't really look at it, and who cares? None of that matters. This doesn't really. So I got Corbett 11. I think he's just he was too hot last year. Like at Corby, Fitzy said, the law of averages got to catch up.
Corby, I've got you ranked number 4. I would have had you even higher. You barely missed the podium here. I think you always draft a strong team. I think you, like me, are typically lower on your team than other people are around you. Like spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking about myself pretty soon when we're counting up from the high number. But I like your teams. I typically think you're a top 3 to 5 manager in the league every year. You're perennial. You will not be stopped, and you won't be stopped this year.
Thank you, Fitzy. Colin.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I actually put myself at number 6, and I think this is more of a motivational strategy. I think that I've had mishaps in the past in which I don't like my team, in which I save too much money and don't take those big swings. And last year, I think that I took those big swings and I wasn't afraid to spend my dough. And so that's why I have myself in the middle of the pack here. I just think I'm just in the middle of either I'm going to love my team or I'm going to hate my team. And so it's just 2 extremes. And I'm just going to meet myself in the middle. And that's why I have myself at 6.
And as I look across, the only one who hasn't revealed their 11th place is me. And it comes down to being a new father. Eric, you're carrying a lot of weight, Holly's got it tough. I know you're doing a lot of work. And because of that, you're not going to be as heavy on the waivers as you typically are. I think you're going to potentially either end the year with waiver dollars unspent, or even worse, you're going to run out of time and be like, I'm going to put 100 in this one guy and move on with my life. So I just don't see it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Until then, you're 11.
I have Eric at 3. Let's think about this. So Eric, for lack of better terms, last year was pretty much embarrassing. I think I hated his team last year after the draft. I hated his management style last year. There's no way that Eric can make the same mistake twice, right? I think that he will figure this out for himself. And I think that he doesn't have much else going on in his life except for being a father. And so there are late nights in which you're on the waiver wire and you're trying to rock your baby to sleep and the baby won't stop crying. And you're just like, shut the fuck up. And you know what? I think Eric's got plenty of time on his hands to go all in on fantasy and fatherhood, the double the FF. So that's why I've got Eric at 3.
Yeah, I had Eric at 4 because I thought maybe this year he'd hit the launch button. But then Fitzy, I wish I thought about what you said. I wish I considered that because you're right. He's a new father, and Corby, you're right. You do have a lot more time. I feel like with the time off, but you also have like baby brain where you just aren't sleeping and like you're just like you're out of it. And like I think that it's a real thing. I'm totally on Fitzy's side. I have him at 4 because I feel like I usually really like Eric's teams, even though I feel like maybe he doesn't always like finish that strong and do that good. I feel like he kind of I don't know if he drafts with the same kind of logic that I do or something or likes the same kind of guys, but I feel like I almost always like after the draft I'm like, oh, like I really like Eric's teams. So I had him at 4.
All right, Corby, who's your 10th place manager this year?
My 10th place is Fitzy. And it comes down to this. I think in all of the years that we've drafted together, in multiple leagues all over the place, there's like zero overlap in terms of players that I think that we like. I think that there are times in which we've got like 1 or 2 that overlap, but in general, there's just guys that I don't jive with that you jive with, and so for that reason, I've got you at 10.
Yeah, I had myself ranked at 10. I feel like despite this might actually be a year where I can improve on this because I have not done all the research I typically do. I typically enter a draft with hard-forged opinions, and I really believe that's been my undoing in fantasy football. We had guest Luke on the show last year talking about overlap between leagues, and he proved that I had something like 7 of the same players between Discord and Why Do Boys Play Games, and that's not uncommon for me. I pick the guys I like, and I pick them and put them on my team. Hopefully this year, just drafting best player available, quote unquote, without knowing in my head who's best player available will come out better. But until I, actually finish my rankings, I got to be number 10.
I had Fitzy at 2. I feel like because and again the 2 tight end draft kind of solidified this for me. I don't really remember where you finished in my rankings, but just the fact that we both started quarterback tight end, I was like, I feel like me and Fitzy, and I feel like this is true a lot of times. I feel like we kind of value a lot of the same players, a lot of the same, the opposite of what Corby said. I remember I loved Fitzy's teams last year too. After the draft, I had it really highly ranked.
I'm going to amend this because right after the draft, you said, wow, Fitzy, what a terrible draft. Like a lot of people did.
Right.
And then you ran the numbers and you were like, wait a minute.
We were all at Corby's house, I remember, and we were like, what is Fitzy doing with this shitty team? And then I put the numbers in and I'm like, oh, shit. Turns out I love Fitzy's team. So, I mean, I got to give you your flowers. I think, even last year, I think, well, again, we're going to go into it. I think you had a really good draft. It's just, I think you had some bad luck and whatever, but you got some awesome value guys. And I think, I'm a little disappointed to hear that maybe you haven't gone so hard, not disappointed, but maybe it'll be good for you, like you said, but I guess we'll see how this year goes, in terms of me liking your team, but I do it too. Is it
Colin? Yeah, Colin,
go at 9?
who's your 9th place? Yeah.
All right, at 9, I had Michael Motorcycle. Mike B, I had at 9. I feel like, so there's a couple ways you can look at Mike's team because, he's going to take some Jets. And a lot of times I feel like, he really wears his heart, obviously Fitzy's a Jets fans too, but I feel like Mike is a player who Fitzy's like, oh, I'll own some Jets if I like them and they'll follow me. Or, you're not. You just stay away from the Jets.
When have you seen me own a Jets player who wasn't the kicker? I mean, since we
like
got
Bilal
kickers out of the league. And what a
Bilal
terrible draft pick that was.
When did Bilal Powell play for the fucking Jets? What year was that?
What do you mean? Yeah, I remember
Chris
drafting
Ivory.
Bilal Powell. I remember drafting Bilal Powell, and it was the worst mistake. I reached for that guy. That was, well before auction. We don't want to talk about Bilal Powell in the God's year 2025, Colin.
All right, Chris Ivory, maybe, or
we're talking about Mike. Let's talk about Mike.
So one of the ways you can measure how you like Mike's team might be how you like the Jets this year. I honestly like the Jets this year, at least, like the top 3 or well, I guess Brees has fallen off, but I think there's value to be had there. So I do kind of like the Jets here. But in terms of everything else Mike does, I feel like, again, what I look for and what I value, I feel like is not coincide with how Mike feels and what Mike values. I feel like, and then Mike also, he made playoffs last year, right? Yeah, he did. He finished in the top 6. So, but obviously we know Fitzy's kind of talked about it, how historically Mike doesn't really make the playoffs a lot. But he's on the up. This could be his year. We'll see. What do you guys think about Mike?
I think it's the best segue you could have given me. It is going to be Mike's year. Full stop. Number 1. Corbett, what you got?
Oh, I've actually got Mike at 4, and I've got a few reasons for this. So I think that there's nobody that is as quite as fearless as Mike. I think you look at Saquon, how he burned him. And I remember, I'm sure Mike had said never again. He would never draft Saquon again, but he said "fuck you, Colin," and he did it. He did it, and he reaped the rewards. And yes, of course, Mike loves his Jets. I think that if he can stay out of his own way this year, I think he had a taste of excellence by making the playoffs. And I don't know, I can't remember his roster off the top of my head. How many Jets did he own? I don't know. I think that if he can stay out of his way from that team in East Rutherford, New Jersey, I think that Mike can clamber his way back up for another run at the championship. So that's why I've got him at 4.
Mike was fearless last year when he drafted Saquon Barkley, right? That he drafted Saquon last year, right? I mean, famously has killed Mike and almost made him quit fantasy a couple years in a row, I think. So that's truly fearless. Did I get that right? He had Saquon?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Saquon.
Yeah, I thought so.
He won the Golden Theo.
Yeah.
I remember that. Okay, yeah.
And then he had his photo as Saquon's ankle at some point or something like that. He announced his retirement on this podcast and then came back. Like, come on.
Oh, wow. I can't believe he was your number 9 ranked guy. I'm sure that you guys are going to be top 3 on this player because you're always a little higher on him than I am. But similar reasoning to Taylor, I've got Chris Cloud at number 9. And my reasoning here is, once again, you can just put all the money in the world on it. These 2 managers are going to leave the year with money on the table. 26 unspent fab dollars, not as bad. But I just feel like Chris Cloud, while a real quality fantasy manager, I think if you asked him, he would say, yeah, I care about the $100 league more. And that's blasphemy to me. This is the league, the $100 league. That's money comes and goes, but glory is forever. Someone who doesn't see that is ranked number 9 in my rankings.
I have Chris at 6, so not substantially higher, but I do have him in the top 6 playoff territory. I feel like Chris is like one of those players who never really finishes last, like in the bottom 2, but he's also not really usually a player that's like, he's one of those middling players just year after year. And maybe it is for what you said. Maybe he because maybe he knows how to like get a team and manage a team, but he just doesn't put it all into this league. So I feel like 6 is a good spot for him. I feel like he's a mediocre player in this league historically, and 6 is that's mediocre territory, baby.
It's better than me. I was ranked 11 on COUN-SKILL. I have Chris here at 7, and so the player. So I have him at 7. The player I ranked at 8. The manager I ranked at 8. I pretty much feel the same way. I feel like Chris is a complete wild card. I think I remember saying this last year. I never know what his draft strategy is. Something that I have noticed about Chris is that he does like to draft rookies. I think that there's an interesting rookie draft pool this season, and I think that if he gets the right rookie, that he could reap the benefits of that. And so that's why I've got him at 7.
I almost want to say, Corby, can we segue that? Because you feel similar to the person you had ranked 8th. Who's that? I know we're skipping your 9, but.
Yeah, that's fine. I've got Brandy at 8. Again, total wild card. Have no idea what Brandy's priorities are at this point. She has a lot going on right now. She did send me her ranking cheat sheet that I did not look at because I'm glad that she's putting the work in, getting ready for the draft. I just don't know what the strategy is. I never have any idea. I just see her click the button, and I'm interested to see what happens. And I think that wild card factor puts her at 8 because I think that it could be an upswing in terms of getting to a good spot for the team.
Brandy is a player who I perennially just rank higher than you two do. I feel like every year we do this before the draft, and I put Brandy top 3. And then every year we leave the draft, and we're like, actually, that was a really good draft. I think Brandy is one of the most underrated, both by the people in the league and by the Yahoo rankings, which we will get into later. But I got Brandy as a number 3 player entering the draft.
I also had Brandy at number 8. And my thought process was kind of similar to Corby's. We're going to get into name changes, but, Brandy's got her hands full. We'll say that. So it'll be tough. I do agree that I feel like I like their team usually after the draft. But, I mean, 8's not terrible. That's still in the playoff hunt, but they do pretty good. But until I want to see like a top 2 or 3 finish. Because this is what, Brandy's 4th year now, maybe, or 3rd, or what is it?
I can actually say that. I think it is her 4th year drafting.
Oh, it is?
I think she entered in 2020. I believe it was the COVID year that we had Jay quit out on us.
Right.
Let me quickly verify.
No, I think that you're right because I think we had just moved into our house and she got a text from Cash like,
Yep.
I'm going to join the league.
Yep, that is correct. 2020, the Bees Breeze finished 7-6 after. Well, we won't talk about the start.
Right. So I'd like to see. I'm cheering for them to finish top 3 this year. It's time to get on the pedestal. So who's your 9, Corby?
You. I'm calling it 9. I expect another fat finger. I expect you to be typing away, putting your big numbers in, hitting the enter button like a big dumbass. They say old dogs can't learn new tricks, and you're an old head in this league, and you're gonna fuck up somehow. But I don't think you'll be worse than Taylor. So I mean, at least there's that.
Yeah, I actually got to agree with you, Corby. I had Colin ranked number 13 in my rankings. I just love to see Colin tilted. I think it motivates him, and because of that motivating factor, I'm actually going to adjust. He's number 5. I think he's pretty good. Don't be motivated, Colin. You had yourself number 1?
I had myself.
Okay, there you go.
Definitely the most underrated manager in this league by far.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Corby, I will not be typing any numbers. You have my word. I will nominate every player at $1, and I will only be bidding up by $1. You have my word. I will. If I don't do that, I will eat a tuna sandwich. And boy, do I hate tuna.
You know what, Colin? I think 5 is where I want you rated because the last time you won the league, there were 8 managers in it.
And one of those managers was Steven.
Anyway, that's just to, again, I love to twist the screw sometimes, Colin. You're pretty good, number 5.
Okay, so we have 2 more people. I'll lead off with my my number 5, and that's going to be Chris P. I remember thinking his draft was pretty disastrous. I remember right after the season started, I was like, oh God, his team is kind of fucked. But then he surprised us all. I expect some big swings. I expect some hindsight from our local PA, and I expect him to be in the playoff hunt again because he was this close to greatness. So that's why I've got Chris P there.
Yeah, super similar. Got him at number 6 for a lot of the reasons you mentioned. I think he's a solid manager. I think he would be number 1 if not for the fact that, again, sort of in the same reign as Chris Cloud. I think if you asked him, he'd say $100 is his priority because he's money motivated. Since Malik stopped running the numbers for him and he transitioned over to that league instead, it's been not as pretty for an overall great manager. Don't get me wrong. He was in the championship last year for a reason, but I think number 6 is a good ranking for him. Colin, where'd you go?
I also had him at number 5, so I think we were all kind of with the same idea there. I don't have much to say because you guys said it. I don't want to say he peaked last year because we've seen his peak. He's won 2 championships and he came in second last year, but he's been so up and down lately. So I feel like 5 is good for him.
So that only leaves us here with I'll tee it off by asking Colin, why do you hate Chris Colby's team?
7, 7's solid. It's not hate at all. That's I mean, Chris Colby's another manager who I feel like has been really up and down, and it's hard to. I feel like everyone between maybe 4 and 8 are players that I could personally just swap around because it's people who I barely even remember their teams because I don't think I particularly like them a lot or not like them a lot. So I think he's definitely better than he used to be. But 7's solid, I think. But I don't know. If you ran the numbers, why don't you lay them on me?
No, so this is a little bit of a vibes-based check here because Chris Colby is the manager who you want in your fantasy leagues. He's the guy who you can text and say, hey, do you want to make a trade? And you'll be like, yeah, sure. What do you want to do? He plays fast and loose with his team. He doesn't get too attached. And I think that's an advantage for him. He can make a silly trade like he did with you, Colin. But if it had worked out, imagine how good his team could have been. He was looking for the upside. We can clown him for how it turned out, but I don't think it's worth clowning him. I think he's a really strong manager. And one of these years, it's going to go completely right for him. So I've got a number 2 because I think this could be his year.
Yeah, I agree with all those sentiments. I think that the stench of third place lingers in his home, and I think that it fuels him, it motivates him, and I expect big things from my local Mainer. That's Chris Colby, number 2.
All right, so we're going to round things off here. Our consensus rankings put Chris Colby number 1, Mike B number 2, Colin, you came in at number 3, and yeah, okay, interesting how that got weighted out. Yeah. Chris Patino, number 4, with a pretty consistent ranking across the board here. Eric comes in number 5, Brandy number 6, and then a very interesting 2-way tie for 7th with Adam and Corby. 3-way tie for 9th with Chris Cloud, 50 and Cash. And then for the, how many years have we been doing this league? 12 years. Our 12th year in a row, Taylor is at number 12.
I just want to say that I agree completely about what you said about Chris Colby. Like, if this league had like 11 Chris Colbys or whatever, like when we made that
clones, I
trade,
would kick myself out. I would let him take my place. Absolutely.
because he's an active listener and commenter of the podcast, and what you like, when we made that trade, like we were just countering like all day. Like he would just respond immediately, and I love that too. What you said about like not being super attached to players, because that's a problem people have. Like I definitely have. So he's definitely an awesome manager in that regard.
I'm sure after the draft, I will get a trade from Adam for like Amon-Ra St. Brown for Cedric Tillman or something.
Right.
Anyways, let's move on to
Adam's the manager you don't want in the league. I'm joking, of course. It's time for what is it? Name change breakdown? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, it is. It is time for name change breakdown, and I need to go over something. So last year we used the Boom Meter. This year we're changing it up a bit. The Costco guys are irrelevant. Who is not irrelevant is my favorite YouTuber. His name is Joe is Hungry, and so Joe is Hungry makes excellent food reviews of fast food items. So I've gone back to the lab. I have changed the rankings. We're now doing a 0 to 10 scale, where 0 to 5 is a free fall to fantasy name hell, and you should change your name ASAP. 5 to 6 is the middle of the road team name, like a nice placeholder team name, like people do before the beginning of the season. 6 to 7 is like above average team name. I call this the Chris Colby tier. He's always got a very solid team name. 7 to 8 is just good, like the IGN. 7 to 8, like normal. 8 to 9 is an excellent name, one to be remembered. Same like Mount Rushless. 9 to 10, pinnacle of team names, nearly unattainable. We'll probably never see a 9 or 10 in terms of this. I also want to make everyone aware. I am aware. I gave a lot of 5s out last season, and this season it's not going to be that easy. We need to work for this. That is the reason why we're doing this. We need big moves here. So let's start off with me, the Tribal Chief. This is hearkening back to the season finale of this podcast. With that in mind, I give this a number 5.2. 5.2 is my number. Achieve diamond or kill self. Adam pulling out a classic photo that he has used in the past of a soldier saluting a rainbow flag. I love that. This is a great name. It's definitely one that we will forget about. Great placeholder, right? So I'm going to give this a 5.1 as well. Butch. So originally this was Kyle, but I forgot to change. It. So we had Kyle and Butch. I'm going to give this one a 4.2. Pretty fine. Dr. B, again, harkening back to classic photos. Brandy makes this their team logo before every draft. Love to see the consistency. Dr. B, it kind of rolls off the tongue. Brandy's going to be a doctor. I like it, but I'm going to give it like a 5.0 on the dot. Great placeholder name. Love to see it. Got 2 names for Fitzy here. Jeff, which I did. Can we talk about Jeff? What does this mean?
It was just a play on Colin's books. This is a picture of Eva that we had also shown.
Okay, great. So Jeff gets like a 4.2 again. It's fine. It's you need to change your name ASAP. However, Twice in Future Champ is very excellent. Before I explain the ethos of what this photo is, I'd like you to go in the comments below, and I'd like you to guess what this photo is actually from. And I'll give you a few moments to do that.
Well, while you wait, I'll serenade you because I could be your baby. I just learned how to cry.
It's the methadone queen.
It's kind of amazing that we still remember both of these things from this movie. So this is a movie called Once and Future Queen. The photo is the poster. This is what enticed us to watch this all those years ago. The 75-minute film that felt like 2.5 hours long. Genuinely some of the worst I've ever seen. Love the play on words. This is great. I'm going to give this a 6.9. That is my number. I love this name. Love this team name. Can't wait to see it. See how things progress. That is those are my ratings, and that is the number, and that's it for name change breakdown.
We really do have to work for it this year. I like it, Corby.
Did we have any Yahoo comments this week here? Or
Oh. No, I don't have time. I didn't have time.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll be back with double the Yahoo comments next week.
Here's one. People in Brock Bowers' chat complaining that he's not bald in his picture yet. Get in there and complain to Yahoo for not making Brock Bowers bald. That's all.
Did he shave his head, or is he bald? Oh, okay, I don't know.
I was telling Adam I'm worried about him this year because his helmet's going to be sliding all over his head. And Colin he texted me back saying, I heard he's going to apply a mild adhesive. He's going for all the receptions. So I like that.
I'm sure the chat for Bill is going crazy right now.
It's going lit. Let's see. Is he going to be the Damian Pierce of this year or the Tyson Williams? We'll see. You guys remember Tyson Williams, Fitzy?
Of course.
All right, in or out. This is a quick segment. This will be really quick. And all I want to do is nobody knows the players of this year better than the players who owned them last year. So I just want to look at teams real quick. Go ahead and hit the next slide because I'm not really going to talk about mine too much. I just want to give an example, as you can see. I just want to look at your guys' team, and I want you guys. You don't have to talk about every single player, or even any players, or anything, whatever. I just want to know, like the players that you're in or out on that you had last year. Like for instance, me. I like CeeDee Lamb this year. Fine, if that's who you're circling, but not for $87. I honestly like most of these guys this year. Obviously, not for this price. I think that I'm one of those owners who is like really sentimental about players. It's like year to year. Like I get attached even if they do bad. Like I was on Miles Sanders' truther for I feel like 6 years or something until he like just burned me too bad 2 years ago on the Panthers or whatever. So I feel like I still like all these guys because I don't think any of them really let me down last year. I mean, not performance-wise, I don't feel like any of these guys were too bad. So let's hit the next slide because I want to talk about Fitzy's team. Because Fitzy, the guys you spent a lot of money on. I mean, I don't have everything here because I don't remember who else. But I think you only spent above $10 on 4 players. You had a very traditional studs and scrubs team. But your scrubs, look at your scrubs here. Sam Darnold for 7, Drake May for 3, who tore it up in the back half of the year. Brian Thomas for 7, Ladd for 2, Jameson for 4, Chuka for 1, and John, who you didn't keep the season, but he finished as like a top 3 tight end or top 5. He finished awesome. Brandy, had him there with the swag strat, two tight end flex. But you had, I mean, but it's just this is what I was alluding to earlier, where you had such an interesting draft where
my best players were my worst players. My worst players were my best ones. Yeah.
I don't have it right in front of me. But I know you had 2 others who were above 10. Do you remember who they were? I don't remember. I don't have it.
I don't have it in front of me right now.
All right. I wasn't sure if you just remembered who you had last year. These guys, especially in the last half of the year, like Ladd McConkey, Jameson, and Drake May, like I said, a lot of these guys were good through the whole year. Chuba and Brian Thomas and Darnold. But this was just like a team. Just a tragic team because I think you were really close to being because Corby has a similar team and we'll get into it where like he just didn't miss. You were just a few hits away from glory. You would have been right up there. Did you look it up?
I did look it up here. I had in fact 5 players over $20. AJ Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, who I was super in on last year and probably
rightfully so.
Marvin Harrison, Anthony Richardson, Devonta Smith. And then after that, it was all under $10.
Right. So I didn't include those guys because those like AJ Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, like they're fine, and Devontae, like they're guys who you like. Gibbs was awesome, obviously, especially again down the stretch. But go ahead. Do you have anything to say? I don't know about if you don't. Again, I don't want you guys to like. I know nobody wants to talk about who they really like because.
No, I'll tell you. I'm in on all these guys. Pretty much all the ones on the screen here. It's a shame that Anthony Richardson, about 6 hours before we recorded here, got named the backup. So probably not $35, but yeah, I'll throw a flyer on Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I'll trade his spot with Jonnu's. Probably Jameson's. Maybe Brian Thomas.
Yeah, so just a really good team. Corby, do you like any of these guys? Or not like any of them? I also want to talk about guys who like you're totally out on. That's why it's in or out. Like I wasn't sure if you were like fuck Marvin Harrison. I know you texted maybe a little about it, but
I'm fascinated by Marvin Harrison Jr. I definitely am interested to see. Like, there's no way he can be as bad as he was last year, right? Like, he's got a little Kyler thrown to him, but like, a guy that I'm always going to be out on is Jameson Williams. I just like he just feels like a very unpredictable like force, and I don't see the hype. I guess I don't.
He's
know.
like new and good DeSean Jackson. I don't know how else
okay.
to put it.
Whoa. Hey, what do you mean new and good? Deshaun Jackson.
New and,
He was good when he was good.
DeSean Jackson's good. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's good.
I like Jameson.
For $4, sure. Like Sam Darnold, I will always be out on. I will never believe. Especially new team, new coordinator. Like I just
will you
like,
cheer for him though? Do you want him to succeed? I feel like he's one of those underdog players like Bryce Young that everyone is like, yeah, because he's not really a threat like to win a Super Bowl or anything. So you're just like, yeah, like he was hated on. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be bad if he was good. That'd be really cool. It's just a guy that I would never like roll the dice on.
Interesting, Corby, because Sam Darnold in the auction history of our draft has only been drafted by 3 managers, and you were the first one. You've actually spent more on him than anyone else ever has, with $8 on Sam Darnold.
Wow, you keep that kind of, you have that kind of stuff?
I've got the next segment. I just plugged it in. I've got a quick draft history thing. Yeah, I don't have those like cool stats, but I can pull them up quick if you get curious.
That's cool. All right, let's go look at Corby's team real quick. So Corby's is long because like he has had a lot of notable ones. I texted Corby, kind of early in the season because I was going through this and I was like, holy shit, like his draft, because he had these cheap. I guess the cheaper players weren't that big of a deal outside of Chase Brown. For $2, which is just like madness. And not only madness that you drafted from $2, but that you kept him because he was another one of those players who didn't really start that hot. They had Zach Moss, but towards the end of this year, he was playing like 90% of snaps. But like, there's not a miss in here besides Kyle Pitts, and I guess you could argue Zay Flowers, but he was just like mid. So $11 for a mid is great, fine, whatever. But that was only like
was 100% a miss. He sucked.
Yeah, but it was $3. I'm not counting I'm not looking at that like, oh, like like I don't care about that. Like, yeah, Jerome Ford for $2. Oh, he was okay, I guess. I don't know. Bryce Young for $4 is also great. You dropped him or traded him at some point, so I know that he didn't end on your team, but he also got benched and like whatever, and then he ended the season super strong. Not that you needed him.
I've got 2 notes for Corby's team before we turn it over to Corby. And sorry, Colin, if you had more.
No, go. That was it.
Yeah. There are 3 notes to me on this team. Lamar Jackson scored the most fantasy points in the history of any player last year. And I don't even think it was the best deal that you got because Joe Burrow and Malik Neighbors for $20 and $16. I mean, like each of them are going to go for more than what they went for combined last year. You know what I mean? Like both are going to be $36 players, I think. So
yeah. And Chase Brown for $2, and I think probably the last. I don't actually know the number, but I bet the last like 6 or 8 weeks, or he was probably like RB3 or something. And you had Bucky, who you didn't draft, but you picked up.
What other note? I was so mad that you got Jerome Ford last year. I remember I only had $2 left, and you put $2 on him before I could. That's a guy who we were both in on, and beware when that happens, Corby.
Yeah. So go ahead, Corby. Tell me about some of these players and how you feel about this year.
I mean, so I think the players that I'm out on at this point are Terry McLaurin and Keon Coleman. I just feel Terry still hasn't practiced. He wants a new deal. They're not going to give him. Will they give him a new deal? I don't know at this point. I mean, for $13, sure. That I think that was fine. I think everyone else Jerome Ford. I'm not going to draft Jerome Ford. Like no one's drafting Jerome Ford. I would definitely take a flyer on Kyle Pitts again. I think that this could be the year. We've got Kyle Pitts and Michael Penix. It's a combination of peas. It's a perfect storm. He's going to be less than $9. I love to see it. Kyle Pitts is my number. He's my. If this was a snake draft and I was 101, I'd be taking Kyle Pitts. Is really what I'm saying. But yeah, no, I think I'm in on everyone except for I mean, everyone's got a price, right?
That's what I mean. At cost, like who are you like? Like Malik Neighbors is going to be like probably like a 40 to 50, but he's getting all these injuries. Like he's not really practicing a lot. Are you afraid or like?
Oh, like at cost. I mean, okay. So if we're talking at cost, Kyron Williams, no. Malik Neighbors, maybe. Lamar Jackson, 100%. Kyle Pitts, he'll be nothing. Sure. Puka Nacua, 100%. I don't care what it costs. He's like my number one.
Really?
Terry McLaurin, he's fine. Zay Flowers, I don't get the hate. I thought he was very serviceable last year. I would happily take him. Bryce Young, he'll probably be overflated by he'll probably be like $18, $20, and he'll probably suck. Joe Burrow is going to be probably over $30, and I'm not sure I want to roll the dice a third year in a row with Joe Burrow, but everyone's got a price. But Chase Brown, sure, I think I prefer Bucky over Chase Brown, but I think Chase Brown is really good, so why not? And Marvin Mims for $1. Yeah, I'll be drafting him again for $1.
I don't know why I included that one. I think just because you talked about
throw him the fucking ball. Throw him the fucking ball. Just throw him the ball. Just throw him all he needs.
Did you get either Bucky or Chase in 2 tight end? I don't remember.
I drafted Bucky, yes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
Good.
you'll notice in this, not to talk about another fantasy football league. First overall, I took Lamar Jackson. Second overall, or not. First round was Lamar Jackson. Second round, Puka Nacua. Third round, Bucky Irving. I'm drafting. I was attempting to draft the same team that I had last year. So
Puka's a good get that late. Because you were what, 3 or 4? You were 4.
I was 4th.
Yeah, people are scared of the Matt Stafford stuff, and kind of rightfully so. But we'll see.
If you're scared, call the police. That's all I gotta say.
All right, so the kind of following the same line here is my great Photoshop job. Here is everybody hates, and we're going to talk about. I just want to know one guy really, because a lot of times I feel like one of the things I like to do is talk about a guy you like who's like a star and a mid and a lower. But I think. And I do the same thing. Like I don't really want to talk about the guys I like a lot because then people are gonna overbid on them, or maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I feel like when I was looking at who we usually pick for this, a lot of times we don't end up owning them, and I feel like it's because we kind of pick players we kind of like. That's me. Again, I'm projecting. So, but I don't think any of us have a problem talking about players we hate, or at least again, I don't. So I want to know a guy who, in your mind, is being way overdrafted. Just one guy, or if you guys have a couple, you can. Do you guys have any really flaming hot takes about players out there, or are you guys right on with consensus?
No, I'd like to start with the tight end for the New York Jets, Stone Smart. I certainly will not be drafting him this year.
No, come on.
There's too many mouths to feed in that really high octane offense. No, my answer for this is actually another Jet. It's Garrett Wilson. He may be the most overrated wide receiver I've ever seen. I mean, sure, he's got some really great circus catches and whatnot. And I'm not saying he's bad at football, because I think that he's really good at football. I just think that his situation is dire, and I don't think that Justin Fields is going to solve the problem. But I could be totally wrong. So I'm out on Garrett Wilson.
Colin, I got to pull up my rankings to see which of my rankings are lower than other people's real quick. But as I scroll down from the top, this is maybe that I don't hate this person, but I probably won't be owning Saquon Barkley because Corbett, you said if you're scared, call the police. I am terrified to own Saquon. He's running behind like one of the best offensive lines in the league. All they want to do is run the ball. They're going to be up all day long and just want to run the ball. It's very obvious how it could repeat last year. Even if they're down, he can get involved in the passing game more. He's a good pass catcher. But that all said, the workload last year, this is the same reason that I keep not owning Derrick Henry, and it keeps being a bad idea. But it's not that I hate Saquon Barkley. I recognize the cognitive dissonance I think we've talked about with Derrick Henry a couple of years in a row, where like I should draft him, but you're going to see me put $1 on him one time, and I'm going to let other people bid on him because I'm just frightened of what could happen to him.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley was who I was going to say. So let me look super quick at someone who I really don't like.
I'll fill the airspace with, that was a joke answer because my real answer is tight end for the New York Jets, Mason. What's his last name? Taylor. Mason Taylor, rookie. His dad is Jason Taylor, Hall of Fame D end for the Dolphins and eventually the Jets for a year. So he's continuing his father's legacy. Colin, who you got?
All right, so I'm trying to look, and a lot of the players, I guess I haven't totally updated because I have Mike Evans super far away from his, but I bet I would update that now that like Chris Godwin is still like isn't on the field, and now Jalen McMillan's like nowhere to be found, so he's probably gonna fly up there. So I'm not gonna say Mike Evans, and then I have oh shit, who else did I have? Oh, Jonathan Taylor, because I thought Anthony Richardson would start, and he's gonna steal touchdowns and not throw to running backs, which is kind of like same with Saquon last year, but the Colts aren't as good as the Eagles, so I think that was actually true. So the one I'll go with, and Corby, I want you to give me your reaction. Bo Nix, I have as the quarterback 8 on Yahoo. I have him as the quarterback 21. I just feel like people are he was really good last year. This is just how it stats out, but I remember there's a lot of stuff about how it was inflated by, I don't know, like really they have one of the best offensive lines in football. And I think towards the end of the year, something about like his not clean pocket stats were terrible, and that's one of the stickier stats. And it's going to be a sophomore season. Some of these quarterbacks, we had a lot of really awesome rookie quarterbacks last year, and some of them are have to not be good. Some of them are going to get CJ Strouded. I think that's what you said when I texted you about it. So I have Bo Nix as a lot further. That's the best one I could find in this emergency. Where I was going to say Saquon. Corby, what do you think about Bo Nix this year? I think that's what you said, but go ahead.
I definitely agree with the sentiment. I think that we've had a year of film on Bo Nix. I think that like you said, their O-line is going to be very strong. I just have no expectations for this dog shit team. I know that they like almost made the playoff, or did they make the playoffs? I don't know. In any case, yeah, I just expect a sophomore slump because that's just what you expect. Because if you don't get that when the season starts, then you're happily surprised and you're having a great time.
The Broncos could be this year's Texans with a better defense. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then just a shout out, because I almost said this one, but he's just kind of too low stakes. Is TJ Hawkinson? I feel like
Shut your fucking mouth!
I just drafted him in the 2 tight end league. Shut the fuck up.
This was probably part of the reason why my thing hated your team then, because I just think he's been overrated for a while. I don't think he's that good. He always says I think his yards per reception is mad low, and they don't play him on. I think something like 80% of his snaps are on passing downs, so he just doesn't a lot of times. Whatever. TJ Hawkinson, I'm just not a big fan. I think that there's a lot. I think he'll average like 10 points per game, and there's like, probably like 12 tight ends you get like that. So, but we'll see. I said this shit about Saquon. It doesn't matter. Who fucking cares? What's up next?
Corby, if you don't mind, I'm going to go off script. I put it in the show notes, but I didn't put it in the slides here. I'm going to share my screen for a quick presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This presentation is called The Big Bucks. Where are you going to spend them? So I've only got a couple slides, then we're going to hop over to Excel, because we are well aware of the spend trends by position over year. And this is percent of budget allocated to each position. You'll recognize that on average, we do a pretty good job of spending everything. Congratulations, everyone. Defense barely ever gets money. What I thought was interesting here, of course, we know running back is getting lower, wide receiver is rising, quarterback is rising, and tight end stayed about the same. What I really wanted to know is, how does that impact chances of winning? So the next thing I looked at was, how does it all play out? So looking at the past 3 years, because in that last slide we saw that we've really made that shift really in the last 3 years. When you spend this percent of your budget on this position, this is your average finish. So what I thought was really interesting is, while we are increasing our spend trend on quarterback, there really does seem to be a sweet spot. If you over allocate to the quarterback position, it looks like you finish more average than if you just put about a third in. Running back, pretty flat. We've got exactly one sample size for somebody who put in
Adam.
0 to 10%. You remember the year, it was Adam. And one person who put in over 50%. But overall, as long as you're somewhere in the not outlier range, there's really no strong correlation. You could put in 10%, you could put in 45%. If you're getting the players that you think are going to help you, that seems to be kind of the outcome. Tight end, an interesting correlation. Nobody has been putting in huge percentages of their budget in the last 3 years. I think that makes a lot of sense. But there is a slight positive correlation to not punting the position. We'll see what that looks like in just a minute. And the wide receiver, this one really surprised me. Putting in a very high percentage appears to have a pretty good correlation to fantasy success. So you either want to be in that 20 to 40% range, or you want to skip and you want to go heavy on the wide receiver position, because we're starting a bunch of them in this league. I had 5 stats I wanted to share. The first one is waste. If you waste a single dollar in the draft, just like your fab, you're not going to finish first. In fact, we've never had a player finish the draft with any money remaining, win the championship. It's only happened a few times, right? Only happened, I can't see in full screen mode, but about 10 times. None of them ever won it. Chris Colby almost won after wasting a couple dollars, but Fantasy God said, My next stat here is on the quarterback position. I thought this was super interesting, given the, don't over allocate notion. Looking at our highest ever percent of budget allocated to the quarterback position. So we're looking at every year, every manager at the quarterback position. 3 of the top 7 finishers all time for how much they've given to the quarterback spot have won the league in the last 3 years. So Adam, and then Corby, all allocating a third or more, really pumping their dollars into the quarterback position. Highest we've ever seen allocated. You're winning the league. The next one is the sad fall of the running back. And that is, again, on the flip side here. 3 of our last 4 champions have been in the bottom 10 for RB allocation all time, of course, including Adam's incredible $6 gambit in the year 2023. Tight end, I thought this was really interesting, and I'm pretty far zoomed out here, so I'm just going to talk about it from this far out, because the message here is punt tight end at your own peril. The lowest a champion has ever allocated is Eric in 2020, but he still put $7 in. That's roughly halfway up the list. If you are punting on a $1, a $2, a $3 tight end, we've never seen one of those teams win the championship. We typically see in the range of, you've got to be putting in high single digits or at least double digits. We of course have had a couple of high, I would assume Travis Kelce type winners in the past as well. My last of these is the wide receiver position. There's no trend I wanted to show here. And please don't look for a second while I hide something I wasn't supposed to show yet. 2 incredible allocations is all I wanted to show. Because in 2020, Mike allocated 70% of his entire budget to the wide receiver position. He licked his lips when he saw Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, not to be outdone, Colin said 70%, that's cute. 75%, very cute. This is not your CeeDee Lamb year. Your CeeDee Lamb year doesn't even crack the top 10. In 2022, Colin, you will remember the team where you had Debo, Jamar, Tyreek, and Pittman all in the same squad. It's a sexy wideout room for the low cost of 80% of your budget. These teams, you make the playoffs and you lose. You don't make the playoffs, but you were close. I feel like you're over-indexing on a single position if you're going any higher than the highest champ we've ever seen at allocating a high amount. 56%, only winner over 50%, myself. So I don't think you should be over-indexing on any individual position. I just thought some of this was interesting. And then I have a total filterable page here. We can also look up any individual player. So as the year goes on, if you're curious, hey, where has this player been drafted in the past? Our post-draft episode, let me know. We can look some stuff up. Throw it in the comments. Who are you interested in? And we'll run the numbers for you.
That was absolutely awesome, Fitzy. I want to know genuinely, do you feel like that will change how you draft this season? Do you feel like you're going to be in? Are you going to be in on tight ends? Are you going to go from one of the top 2, maybe 3?
I often do punt tight end. I think I'm usually in, if I'm not one of the teen range players, top 5-ish, then I just punt it. And what I think I learned is don't do that, which I could have learned last year when I want to solve the tight end position. Even if it's one of those mid-range guys that we're not supposed to get, I think in an auction, you can get them. Because I think you can kind of play the rounds and get exactly who you think is a good value.
I remember Adam at the 2 tight end draft. He said he was surprised that I waited so long for running backs, because he's like, oh, I see I was a running back guy, and I scoffed at him. And Adam, if you're watching, go back and look at that, because there were 2 years. Because I was going to say, look, before last year, I'm always a 0 RB guy. I was in the 60%, I think, for one of those, and the 80%. So yeah, I even though your data shows whatever, I feel like I'm too stubborn to change much. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Very interesting. Corby, what do you think?
I think I learned last year to blow your load on quarterback, and you reap the benefits and become the champion. So I think I'm gonna keep doing that.
All right, Corby's gonna blow his load all over the place. All right.
And Cal Pitts. I'm still in. Still on Cal Pitts.
All right. Is your good luck token. All right. So with Fitzy's beautiful segment, we're gonna move on. It's time to look out the bets of last year recap. All right. So Colin didn't do so good last year, as you can see. He owes a lot of people not a lot of money, except Corby. All right, so here we go. Let's go. Here we go down the road. Here we go. Colin, I owes $55 after probably like 80 bets. Corby, $25. Eric, I owe you 10. Chris Colby, I owe you 5. Luke, I owe you 10. Adam, I owe you 10. Chris Patnode, I owe you 5. Not a good year for me. Corby, here we go. You owe a few people $5. Mike, you owe 5. Eric, you owe 5. Chris Colby, you owe 5. Luke, you owe 5. Adam, you owe 5. And then Fitzy, you owe Taylor 5 and Adam 5. So it looks like you guys canceled out. I don't know. Go ahead, Fitzy. You have something to say?
It's just amazing to me that after all the bets last year, I finished exactly neutral, and I think very interestingly, precisely neutral with Corby.
Right.
I made and lost $0. It's what $5 bets were made for.
Now, I didn't have access to like the show doc, so I did this through the episodes, and I know that sometimes maybe I was a little like I would just fast forward to the end, and I know sometimes when I was editing, I kind of might have missed one or two. So it's possible that I would say it's more than possible that I probably missed one or two or whatever. I don't. So it's not that big of a deal. I don't know if I just want to go through it all.
If your thing was underlined Colin is owed followed by a long list, we might be skeptical. I don't think you're stacking the decks here, buddy.
All right, Mike, you owe me money. Here we go, baby. $5, please. Chris Colby owes $55 and Adam owes Chris P $5. So I'll be sending the Venmos out when this episode releases. Just not now because you won't understand why I'm sending you money.
I will be waiting to pay off my debts after Colin pays me.
Yeah, Corby won a big burger last year and also $25. So it's not looking that good. What are we gonna do this year? Are you gonna be in town at some point?
I'm gonna for a burger. I'll mail you a burger.
Oh, you'll mail me a burger. You think I'm gonna win the burger bet?
Oh, Colin, we can take a day. We'll do a road trip podcast from Maine, maybe.
Oh my God!
Meet you guys. I could just meet you guys halfway somewhere in like New Hampshire or something.
Cool.
And we'll podcast from New Hampshire.
A live beach
bar at Hampton Beach.
All right, bets of the week of the year. All right, I'm starting this one off hot and heavy, okay? Because I'm still mad about a bet from last year that we made. I'm still fuming, and we're running it back. Daniel Jones over under draft price. What do you think, Fitz?
Oh,
you're gonna go for?
I'm so glad you brought this up, Colin, because I know what I'm going to nominate him for if you say too low.
I'm going to stipulate that he will be nominated for $1, or else the bet is off, unless it's not by one of us. In which case, well, actually, if it's not by one of us, it's more than $1. I guess I don't know.
Okay, well, I have to tell you, this is a player that I'm moderately interested in. So,
you don't want to bet on Daniel Jones?
I feel like it's not worth the money to me. It's not worth it.
What's not worth it? The bet?
If I make this bet and I draft him, I'll never hear the end of it, Colin.
If you draft him, we'll just nullify it. Or if I draft him, we'll nullify it.
All right, cool.
Or if you don't want to make, I don't want to force you to bet. You don't have to make the bet.
Over 7.5.
I'll take the under. Or what would you take?
That was aggressive for sure. But I think he will go for over.
Are you sure? Oh, you want to do 6.5?
I'll do 7.5. I said it.
All right, 7.5. The inaugural bet of the year. Is
Daniel Jones.
And if he's nominated by you for more than $1, then I'm done. I mean, you can do 2 if you want. Just don't do 7.
I can do 2.
You can do 2. You can nominate for 2.
2.
Is that gonna be your first nomination?
I'm gonna nominate for 2. Someone's gonna put 3, and then I'm gonna put 7.
Understand.
I'm a typer. You'll never be like you'll never be like me again. I'm a typer. I did this for so many players. Anyway, I got a bet too. And we got stats to pull up for this one because I'm going to lead with the bet. I bet that Adam will either miss the playoffs or win the league. If he does so, it will mark a full decade of that trend occurring. The last time Adam made it to the playoffs and didn't win the league, he beat Mike's dad in a third place game. This was Mr. Bukanowicz's first year in the league. In fact, Adam has not missed out on this since the league entered the 12-team era. So what do you guys say? Time to break the trend?
So the bet is he either wins the league or he misses playoffs.
I think that he will finish in place number 1 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're going to bet that he's going to finish 2 through 5. Yeah, 2 through 6.
This is Mike B, you said?
No, Adam.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said something about Mike. All right,
Yeah, the point was that like Adam's been doing this for so long that the last time this happened, it was Mike Dad's first year in the league. That's like It was a long time.
I think Adam makes playoffs but he doesn't win the league. Yeah, I'll take that.
Colin's in. Corby, you want to double me up?
Can we double Colin up?
That's
I
fine.
like your side better, Fitzy.
I don't mind getting double.
Adam, you heard it here first. Corby and I both believe in you to do one of two things.
I think he's still in on the Chiefs, honestly. I know someone said something about, I think it was you, Corby, who said he's separated from Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he is. I asked him at Buffalo Wild Wings. He didn't seem like he was. I think it's maybe a little cool. But honestly, my bet is kind of that I think he'll have a bounce back year. Not like Patrick Mahomes' classic year, but I think he'll do better. Do you have anything, Corby?
I do have one. So my idea for a bet is the following. We take the other 11 players, not including ourselves, and we guess what the position they nominate first. And whoever guesses the most correctly wins the bet. If there's a tie, the third place pays $2.50 each. No, it doesn't have to be that. I don't know. I didn't think about a tie.
I'm going to. We talked about this before. I'm going to request that we do the other 9 players, and I say this because I'm now incentivized to nominate like a tight end first. That you wouldn't like. I can make you both wrong by doing it. So it's got to be the other 9 players, but then I'm in.
Okay, I like that better too.
So we're going to do player by player.
So yeah, yes,
yes. For the first round, I want to see who people nominate first.
Oh, just for the first round.
At what position? We're not doing it every single one. Picks nominations 1 through 12.
So we're picking a position. Is that what we're doing?
Yes, you're picking a position.
Okay.
Per team. Yeah, pick a position per draftee, and whatever position they nominate. If you get it right, great. If you don't get it right, then that's it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's do a 3v. We're not doing that right now, are we?
No, we're not going to do it right now. I think we can reveal this afterwards. I'm probably going to write mine down on a piece of paper, and then I will transfer it to the document after the draft occurs. So that's fun. Okay, I'm glad you guys are in. What do we do in the event of a tie? I didn't get that far.
In the event of a tie,
the third person.
Yeah, go ahead, Colin.
The third person is going to pay the other 2 people $5.
Okay,
is that what we usually do with 3v3 or 1v1v1s?
I was going to switch it up. The 2 winners have to both pay the loser $5 in the event of a tie.
Some like documentary or something showed up on my Netflix today. Like it was like the reality of The Biggest Loser. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No, but I watched The Biggest Loser as a child.
My guess is about how like The Biggest Loser contestants come back to like real life and they just gain all their weight back. Because I think that was a thing.
Probably.
All right. Let's make a classic bet. Fitzy, I'm sorry if I'm stealing this from you because I feel like this is kind of your thing. Number of teams with only 2 quarterbacks. Now, I remember last year, Fitzy, you lost this bet because you set the number, I think, really like high. You thought a lot of teams would only have 2. So, and I don't remember what you set it at. I'm gonna say, it's got to be 1.5 or 2.5. I feel like because I feel like. What do you guys think?
It's your bet.
2.5. Let's set it at 2.5. I feel like that's that because 1.5 is too low.
I think that's too good a number. Yeah, at 1.5, it was an easy over for me
Right,
because I think it's going to be 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Um,
So 2.5
I-
quarterbacks with only 2 quarterbacks. I
now,
would
now
take.
we got to stipulate this
Okay.
because, like, if someone takes a backup quarterback, that counts as a quarterback, right?
I would say yes.
I
Unless
agree.
it's like a meme thing or something like. Who
I'll
they're
go
gonna
under
draw.
on 2.5 with that stipulation. Yes.
Do you have a feeling, Corby?
I would also go under, I think.
I would go under too. All right, let's do 1.5 then. I'll go under on 1.5 if someone wants to take the over.
You're gonna say one team.
With only 2 quarterbacks, yes, I will.
I'll go
Not that
over,
different.
but
It's not that different than 2. It's one
yeah,
less.
I'll go over.
Corby, do you just not want to do it, or you can take it? I don't care.
No, I'll do it. If you're scared, call the police. I'll take the over.
You'll take the over? Okay, here we go. Another double team on Colin, just the way I like it.
I'm sorry. What did you just say?
Oh, pause.
I have to clip that. Another double team on Colin, just the way he likes it.
And I have one more. One more right now. I just want to say before I forget anything. But I want to bid on the dollar number of the highest player. You know?
Yeah, I want to do the same thing.
Okay, so let's just do a 1v1v1 closest to the pin.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you guys want to do the write down in the reveal, or do you want to just pick one? Or
I'm writing mine down.
Okay.
I'll write mine down in my calculator app. And I need a quick second here.
Oh God, my handwriting is so bad. Okay, I wrote mine down in my calculator app.
Almost there.
All right, nobody do say 87 for the memes, okay? Let's just keep it realistic. All right.
Good job, Colin.
Shut your fucking mouth!
All right. The number's really small in my app, so I'll put it really close to the screen. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh,
1, 2, 3. What does everyone got? Where is it? Where's
68 for me.
Oh wait, I just said 60. I can't find it, but it says 60.
Okay, so Colin did
Wait,
60.
Colin, what's that a drawing of next to that?
Oh, this was like my first draft of the Why Do Boys Play Games.
Oh man.
Because
Nice.
I drew it and then I took a picture and then I put it on the computer because I don't I can't draw that stuff on computer. I need to get better with the programs. And even that would look terrible. Some of them did.
So Fitzy did 68.
Yes.
Colin said 60, and I said 71.
Yeah. I'll admit it's the last time we had a non-87 top player, it was $64, Tyler. Year before that, the highest was 63. So Colin, I think you're probably closest to the pin, but the years before that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I
Spend
think it's the years when there's like a really clear number one, sometimes at least. And this year, I feel like I know Jamar Chase is like the one, but I feel like it's not super clear. Especially now that Fitzy, that was when people were spending a lot on positional players. Now Fitzy's talking about how and Corby, you too, are talking about you got to spend up on quarterback. That means less money allocated to the positional players, who I feel like usually go for higher. So yeah, we'll see, I guess, huh? Does anyone have any others?
Maybe quarterback should be the most expensive position.
I think traditionally, especially in a 2 quarterback, like non-super flex, they are, right? That's why you can't mock draft with our leagues, because it's an auction anyway, but even 2 tight end, it's all like 10 quarterbacks in the first round. So it's just not how we roll.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any others?
Yeah, I got a couple. I got to admit it. So the first one, I say it's finally time. Taylor versus Brandy. A race to silver. And I truly think both of them are going to win. My bet is exactly that. I believe that they both will make it to silver at some point in the year 2025.
So they don't have to finish, just make it.
That's my position.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be both of them.
I'll take no.
I will also take no.
Oh, double me up. Double me timbers. And then I got one more bet, and it's also a Brandy bet because Corby, we've been making it every year.
Again.
You knew it was coming. Let's run it back. Brandy is going to finish ahead of you in adjusted ranking.
This is me, Brandy, trying to beat me in adjusted rankings. Brandy can't lace my boots in fantasy football. Absolutely.
Brandy made playoffs
Brandy,
last year, right?
Yep.
That's right. John New World Order. Never
I
forget
won
it.
last year, right?
I'm just saying they're there. Do you have any other, Corby? Think one on the fly.
No. Let me think. I want to make a season-long Kyle Pitts bet, but I can't.
Right.
Okay.
Well, let's. Well, if you want, you can make it now. But I'm going to say like those kind of bets. I was saving for after the draft, just because like then we can really put our cards on the table. But if you want to, you go ahead. We can do it.
No, I'm gonna stew and think about like every single stat, like number of blocks thrown, number of catches made.
Right. And you get one more week of preseason games to maybe see some Kyle Pitts action.
I'm gonna be freaking on my couch.
Has he been out there? Do you know?
I have not watched a single moment of preseason football, so
I haven't either. But I've been like looking up stats. I don't know if he's. I don't know.
Looking up stats.
Dude, Frank Gore Jr. is the dude to watch. He's tearing it up this year, man.
Shut your fucking mouth!
We're gonna get over that button real quick.
Bill Krosky, Merritt. See that 30-yard scamper to the touchdown end zone there?
We saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Against the Bengals' first team. It was the starters.
The worst.
It's not a second team. It was the first team of the Bengals. So, send me trades. And 2 tight ends. I have no second tight end. All right. But that doesn't matter. It's a different league. Let's go. All right. Is that all the bets we got then?
Yes.
All right. So you know what? That means this episode is over. We kept it nice and short for you guys. We always like a nice short pre-draft episode. The one thing I want to drill, if you're still watching at some point for some reason, let's get those tribal COUN-SKILL videos in. We'll put the here it is. Here's the email. Right, it's an email. That's what we're doing. That's what we usually do. Yeah, so we'll put the email here, and I'll put it in the description, or whoever uploads it. It'll be in the description. It'll be in the league chat. We'll put it all over the place. Okay, so let's get more than like 3. Okay, and make sure you send them in because I feel like last year there was like 3 people who were like, "Oh, I sent mine."
It was an email fiasco. I'll use my personal email this year.
Okay, we'll use Fitz's personal email. And you'll be around to be able to do it. I think that was the problem last year, is that you were.
That was not it. We said it just didn't. We told people to send it to the Hotmail account, and for some reason it didn't go through.
Okay. Well, all right. So I guess it was just let's just do it old school and whatever. So here we go. That's the one, and then the other is make sure to like and subscribe and comment. This is going to be a good year. I feel like league parodies really every year. It's getting better and better. Who knows? Who would have picked Corby to win last year? Corby, would you have picked yourself?
Oh, certainly. I mean,
all right, Corby would have. There you go. I want to thank everyone for watching again, and I want to thank everyone for watching this season ahead of time and commenting and everything. You guys are really the reason we do this. You know, we don't make a lot of money, but it's just our passion in life. So I just want to, thank you for that. You guys have any plugs?
Yeah, I got a couple quick plugs. So first of all, I'd like to announce a sweepstakes because the road to 20 subscribers begins anew. We are sitting at 18, and I'd like to announce that our 19th subscriber will get a shout out on the pod, and our 20th subscriber will be invited to be the next guest of the Why Do Boys Make podcast. So get those subscribers and make 2 accounts and subscribe if you want to be on. Go ahead, do it.
Me and Kim went to a party tonight, and she told them that the reason I was leaving was because I have to go record a podcast for my fantasy football league. So we may get a few surprise listeners there. All right. So,
I don't think I even mentioned I'm working from a hotel room right now in Phoenix. I actually had to leave work early, and I didn't tell anyone that it was for a podcast. I've got a hard stop at 4:30.
No, you should have told him. We need to get him in here. Yogi Fenoy, where are you, dude? I know you're still out there. All right. I'm Colin.
I'm Fitzy.
And I am your tribal chief, Corby.
And remember to go buy the game. Why do boys play games? It's coming to stores near you. Here we go. And gamers, game on.
What are you doing this weekend?
Laundry?
No way.
Homework? No!
Why do boys play games the game?
Yeah.
Why do boys play games the game? Out this Monday.
Let's get fucked up. Rated R.